Hello and welcome back to r/EntitledParents, and if you're new here, I hope you enjoy. Entitled Mother doesn't get that she's not entitled to kittens or my personal space. I work as a volunteer/adoption coordinator for a local animal rescue group. It's a pretty small organisation that I've been with for quite some time now. We don't have our own shelter, but we're partnered with a couple of pet supply chain stores that help us get some of our animals out in the open for people to see, specifically the company where the pets go. Well, in light of the current situation, and given that our governor issued a shelter at home order, we decided that, despite the fact that the store was staying open to serve the community, we would be pulling our cats out of the in-store habitat and placing them with fosters until this whole situation calms down. We did this for the safety of our volunteers, and so that we don't create another gathering point where people will undoubtedly mash their faces and hands on the habitat to try and pet the cats through the door. I went in yesterday to meet our foster and to do a deep clean of the habitat itself. I showed up a bit before our foster did, in worn out gym clothes with my earbuds in. The staff all wear jeans, a store branded shirt and a name tag. I decided to get a head start on the cleaning while waiting for the foster to show. So I set up the foldable barriers they use for their puppy training class to prevent people from getting in my way or accidentally touching cleaning chemicals. The store was mostly empty, but I wanted to be on the safe side. Our story begins, as so many do on this sub, with some crazy Karen flying out of the ether with her spawn in tow. Entitled Mother: "Excuse me, does anyone work around here? I've been looking for someone to help me for almost 30 minutes now and I can't find anyone." Me: "I'm sorry about that, ma'am. The staff are all in front. They must have thought the store was still empty." Points to staff: "There they are." Entitled Mother: "Why can't you help me?" Me: "Oh, I don't work with the store. I volunteer with the rescue group." Entitled Mother: "So?" Me: "So I don't know where everything you're looking for is. Manager over there can help you." Entitled Mother: "Ugh, this generation doesn't understand good customer service at all. Heaven forbid you should ever take out your headphones and help a customer. I can't believe your boss lets you wear those in front of customers." Manager, who's a super chill older dude, walks over after seeing Entitled Mother harassing me. "How can I help you, ma'am?" Entitled Mother: "Are you the manager?" Manager: "Yes." "You should really have a talk with your employee here. He was very rude to me and refused to help me." Manager: Yeah, sorry, he doesn't work here." Entitled Mother: "What do you mean he doesn't work here? Do you let random people clean the store?" Manager: "He's a volunteer for the rescue group we're partnered with. They're responsible for the habitat, not us. But I can help you find what you're looking for." Entitled Mother: "Fine, I'm looking for..." Item for her dog. Manager walks off with her and listens to her whine about how the store has no employees around. Knowing this manager, he's probably tuning her out. His staff are all really good at their jobs. They probably legitimately thought the store was empty. I went back to cleaning and our foster mum showed up to pick up the 2 kittens we had in the habitat. We greeted each other and I let her behind my barrier to come pull out the kittens. We made small talk for a few minutes, thanking her for being so understanding about the whole situation. Then Entitled Mother comes back for more. As she approaches, we're pulling the kittens out of the habitat and loading them into carriers to be taken away. Entitled Mother's spawn notices. Entitled Kid: "Mummy, I want to pet the kitty." Entitled Mother: "Of course, sweetie." Looks at foster: "Could we hold the kittens, please? My son wants to play with them." Me: "I'm sorry, ma'am, we're not allowing visitation right now." Entitled Mother: "You're letting her hold them." Me: "She's our foster mum. She's been kind enough to home them for a while until this health situation calms down." Entitled Mother: "Well, can't we just hold them for a few minutes?" Me: "I'm sorry, but no. We're doing all we can to minimize human contact right now. Any other time I would say yes, but we're trying to be as cautious as possible, especially since it's not confirmed whether or not this disease is transmittable to pets." Entitled Mother: "I'm not sick." Me: "With all due respect, unless you were tested in the last 15 minutes, neither one of us knows that for sure. I do not wish to jeopardize your health, or ours. Please understand." Entitled Mother: You're being so dramatic, it's just a flu. You should stop listening to the lamestream media and start to learn some facts." Entitled Kid, crying: "I wanna pet the kitty, I wanna... Entitled Mother: "Now you've made my son cry. Fine, I want to take one of those kittens home myself. How much are they? Me. They're $100 each to adopt, but it's not that easy. You need to fill out an application. Entitled mother. Oh, for goodness sakes, they're just cats. I can go find one on the street. What's the big deal? Me. We want them to go to good homes that will fit their personalities and your lifestyle. We ask for an application and an interview with our adoption coordinator to ensure that nobody winds up in the wrong home. Entitled mother. Oh, so you think I don't care for my animals? Me. Not at all, ma'am. This is just our process. We need to make sure that the cats we adopt go to the homes where they'll do well in, and that the family that takes them will mesh with the cat's personality. Please respect this. Any other animal shelter will require you to do the same thing. Entitled mother. I don't care. My son wants to hold the cat. Let him hold it now. Me. No. Entitled mother. Fine, I'll be waiting in the parking lot for them. Maybe you'll change your tune when you're not on camera. Foster mother. Excuse me, did you just threaten me and my animals? Entitled mother. I don't know about that. Maybe I did. Maybe you hand over one of the cats and we'll call it even. Me. No way. I call for my manager. Manager, who is watching from a distance, runs over at the speed of a spry, but still elderly gentleman. Manager. What's wrong, fuzzy one? Me. Call the police. This lady just threatened to assault our foster and steal her cats. Manager pulls the phone off his belt and immediately calls the cops. Panicking, the woman grabs her still sobbing kid and books it out of the store, abandoning her cart. Manager tells the police to cancel the call because the lady just bounced. We waited and watched for a few minutes to make sure Karen didn't come back and that our foster was safe. We had entitled mother's face on camera, so they know to watch for next time. I hope she does try to adopt from us. It will be the fastest denial I'll ever have the pleasure of issuing. Entitled mother basically steals teddy bear from sick children at hockey arena. I was about 13 at the time and went to stay with my uncle to help him volunteer with PetSmart to sell teddy bears. These bears were meant to be bought then thrown into the hockey rink, collected and then delivered to the kids at a children's hospital. All the money raised would go to the hospital. None of the money was kept for ourselves. So about an hour in, enter entitled mother and her two kids, about 5 and 6 years old. I hear the dreaded, "Excuse me," as she cuts in line and demands she gets a teddy. I tell her that they are $3 Canadian each. I'm not sure the exact price. And she tells me I'm running a scam, but reluctantly buys a couple teddies. I thought that that was the end of it. It was, mostly. But she decided that after the hockey game that she would keep the teddies rather than throwing them on the ice for the children in the hospital. On her way out, I asked her if she knew that she was supposed to throw them into the ice. Big mistake. About 5 minutes earlier, my uncle left me alone to hold down the fort, while he talked to someone who helped us set up. So, he was nowhere to be found. This lady yells at me that her children are the only thing that matter to her and that I'm a scam artist. Remember, I'm 13 at the time, and that the children don't deserve the teddies as much as her angels do. She then proceeds to knock down one of our cardboard signs before leaving. Mother-in-law tried to set up my husband with our female co-worker. This happened a couple years back, but finding this subreddit made me realise I haven't fully healed. I will keep it as short as possible. Backstory. Mother-in-law and I both worked at AM/PM. Different stores, same owner, which meant workers from different stores often knew each other. Mother-in-law is close to the owner, which is how I got my job there, through her recommendation. Co-worker and her sister worked at AM and PM as well. One day, said co-worker told me if we can grab a coffee after work because she has something important to tell me. She did Herbalife, which meant I thought she was trying to recruit me, but she's my friend, so I reluctantly agreed. Fast forward after work, we sat down and she told me that she's only telling me what she's about to tell me because she respected me as a friend. So she tells me her sister worked a shift with my mother-in-law, and mother-in-law told her that she should go for her son, my husband, because she wants a Hispanic daughter-in-law. I'm Filipino. She states that it doesn't matter if he's already in a relationship because she thinks it won't last. My co-worker's sister is a happily married woman who personally knows me, so of course she got offended and told mother-in-law how disrespectful it is to her son, to me, and to her for even offering to hide a relationship with her son behind my back. So she and my mother-in-law fell out after co-worker sis called her out. My co-worker promised me not to mention anything to my husband because my mother-in-law has a reputation of getting people that she doesn't like fired due to her close relationship with the owner. To make sure they both keep their jobs, I complied. I was so hurt because I have no control over my race, but I love my husband so much, so I still kept trying to get along with my mother-in-law. The next day, co-worker sis and mother-in-law had another shift together. Since they didn't get along, mother-in-law started acting like her boss, despite not being the manager and having the same position as co-worker's sister. It got so bad, mother-in-law threw a cardboard box at her, hitting her on the head and making her fall while she was making hot dogs. This caused co-worker's sister to quit, which meant I can now tell my husband what his mum did behind my back. He got super mad and told her that she will lose another son and that we will move far from her if she tries to meddle again. My husband also has a brother who cut off all contact with family because mother-in-law tried to make his brother cheat on his wife with his ex-wife. Husband's sister moved across the country also, away from mother-in-law, because she didn't approve his sister marrying a black man. My husband and I, like co-worker's sister and her husband, are still both happily married. We just laugh about it now and make sure to keep boundaries from mother-in-law. She still wonders why we don't visit. Entitled parent takes their kids to our child-free wedding. We have been planning our wedding for a year and we were very clear with everyone that this was a child-free event. My nieces and nephews and our friends' children were not invited, and neither were his nieces and nephews. This was not very popular with his sister. She and my ex-mother-in-law protested the decision all the way, but we wouldn't budge. Their reasoning was that it's important for the kids to be an uncle's wedding, not very well behaved kids. They eventually surrendered and were taking a babysitter along with them. 4-hour car drive. Only days before the wedding, I heard from mother-in-law that there had been a misunderstanding and the babysitter was not free for the weekend after all. The kids would be coming. They knew my cowardly husband would never do anything about it and I didn't have the time nor energy to fight them over this just before the wedding. I'm very aware that they plotted this from the very beginning and it's had me fuming for years, even after we finally divorced. In part due to his family constantly stepping over my borders and disrespecting me. Don't bring your kids to child-free events. Old lady on an airplane gets angry with a very simple and easy request. Sorry if things are a little choppy, this happened when I was 11. I'm 17 now, and the only other person there was my mum. She filled me in on the parts I had forgotten. So this all happened when I was coming back from Miami with my mum on an airplane. We were flying back to San Francisco after a wonderful vacation to Disney World. My mum had planned the trip a little late, so we were not sitting together on the flight, but she was across the aisle and 2 rows back from me, so I could see her. Now to set the scene, I was sitting in the aisle because I like to stretch my leg out, every once in a while. And this old woman, who looked as pale as a ghost, and she looked honestly like a female version of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, was sitting in the window seat, and her son and his wife were sitting in front of us. So anyone who has flown from Miami to San Francisco will know it's around 5 to 6 hours long. As soon as we take off, this woman takes off her shoes and puts her back to the wall and puts her legs on the middle seat. No one was there. Now this really disgusted me because her feet reeked, and to top it all off, she had put her feet against my leg so the bottom of her feet were pressed against my thigh. I was silently freaking out because being an 11-year-old, I had absolutely zero idea what to do. I didn't want to ask her to move because I thought that would be rude. My mum always told me to be nice to people and not to point out things that grossed me out. So internally, I was screaming. About 20 minutes into the flight attendant started coming around asking what drinks people wanted, and if they wanted one of those little portable TVs they have on the planes. When she asked what drink I would like, I look at her and just pointed at the lady's feet. The following conversation ensues. Nice flight attendant. Ma'am, please put your feet down, that is not appropriate behaviour. Entitled parent. Oh, I'm sorry, I just need to keep them elevated until my Advil kicks in. You see, my back hurts sometimes when I fly, and I just need to stop the pain. Nice flight attendant. Ma'am, if this was going to be an issue, you should have taken them earlier, or have gotten your own row. Now, please take your feet off of this child. Entitled parent. I can't, the pain is unbearable. Mum, from the other row, stands up and walks over. What's the problem over here? She then noticed the lady's feet. Excuse me, please get your feet off of my child. At this point, I had frozen and not said anything because I don't like confrontation. Entitled parent. If he had a problem with it, then he should have said something. It's not my fault that I have so much back pain. Honestly, probably is her fault because she was super heavy. Not that there is anything wrong with that. Her son finally chimes in from in front of us because our conversation had woken him up. Nice son. Mum, just get your feet off him. This is why we don't like flying with you. You always make a scene. Entitled parent. But my back hurts. Nice son. You took 4 Advils and I know for a fact that your back doesn't hurt that badly. You did this on the flight here. And whenever you get on a plane, you magically have back pain. Entitled parent. But, Mum, just stop. Nice son to me. Hey bud, do you want me to switch seats with you? I'll be more than willing to give you my aisle seat. I said okay and we traded seats. My mum thanked the nice son and that was the end of it. The flight attendant gave me an extra strip waffle because I went through that. I thank her for that because now I love strip waffles. Once we got off the plane and we went to get our luggage from the carousel, my mum and I saw entitled parent, nice son, and nice son's wife arguing about something, and I swear I heard nice son say something about how this was the last trip they were taking with entitled parent. I do feel bad if she was truly in pain, but if she knew it was going to happen, she should have done something beforehand. Thanks for reading, and I encourage you to post your entitled parent encounters, especially during this time of social distancing.